We finally took the tiny wooden camper camping. We learned a lot and had a great time, twice now. Let's get into what I changed since building it, then set sail for the campgrounds. The main concerns from folks who watched the build video were the budget trailer, axle, and air conditioner setup. I addressed what I could and started with the axle and tires. I found a Dexter 3,500 pound axle and stuck that on, along with some Rainier radials. The axle was now rated for more than twice the weight of the camper, and the tires were now rated for twice the weight of the camper. Next, I modified the air conditioner. It now slides in and out on a sheet of aluminum, and there are 3 pins that lock it in place while traveling. Folks said the old configuration just wouldn't work. Well, I waited for a day when it was 90 degrees out and charted how long it would take to cool the camper in the old configuration before I changed it. Here's what I found. 4:50, May 2nd, it's 90 degrees outside. The interior of the camper was 98 degrees. I charted the temperature change every 10 minutes for an hour. It dropped 22 degrees in an hour. That honestly wasn't too bad, but I thought I could do a little better, so I changed it. The last change was removing the GFCI receptacle and installing a regular one for the refrigerator, so the food wouldn't spoil if the GFCI had tripped. Now with the changes made, we finally went camping. It took us a while as we needed to wait for summer break so that all 4 of us could go. Our first camp was near Glengarry, West Virginia at Lazy-A Campground. Let's get into what we learned. First, we had a huge problem right away. We were leaving a gas station and drove across its deep storm drain and broke the front window when the point of the kayak poked the window. Knowing my truck has a short bed, I should have mounted the kayaks differently. A few days later, I popped a new window in. Setting up camp was pretty easy. Slide the portable gray water tank into place, put the steps in front of the door, find the power and plug in. We didn't bring a generator or plan to use the batteries. From calling ahead, we learned that they had power at the sites. We're not really an extreme camping family, so we will likely stick to campgrounds with all the amenities, places to play for the kids, and near a water source preferably. I just keep myself too busy to camp more than 4 or 5 times a year, so we're not really going to go off-grid with this thing. It has 235 miles on it now, and we'll be lucky if we put 200 miles a year on it. I sure hope we can camp a lot more often in the future. I set up the outside water connections for the Hillbilly hot water heater, so we needed the propane tank. One of those lines pulls from the main water tank to fill the water heater pot, and the other pulls from the pot to the shower. It's all caveman level water heating. You bring the water to a temperature that's comfortable for you, then take the shower. We really enjoy the simplicity of it all. These pins I'm removing would likely be easier if they were eye-shaped on the end. I may make that change in the future. Our portable Camco toilet lives in the shower room and works like this. A couple pumps from the top tank fills the bowl, and a quick pull on the front handle drains the bowl into the bottom tank. The bottom tank can be removed and emptied into a toilet at home later. The toilet can still be used if someone is in the shower. And here's what it looks like when the water drains from the shower into the gray water tank. I may make a connector piece later on. There was a question about what the upper cabinet looked like inside. Here's how it turned out. Of course, you should always have a fire extinguisher handy. I didn't show the gear and accessories in the build video, but here it is now. If this is the first time you're seeing this camper and you're wondering how I built it, check out the full build video on my channel. It shows start to finish every step of the build. So here we were, camping, finally. Cooking burgers over the fire, enjoying some watermelon and each other's company. As long as the kids enjoyed it, that's all that mattered. We like to be slightly uncomfortable and, you could say, pretend to rough it. The little camper is just small enough to make sure you don't have it too easy. And that's my comfort zone right there. That and s'mores. Sit still. Yep. This video is a follow-up for my subscribers, as many of you have told me you wanted to see this thing in action. I hope I'm showing it well enough for you. Oh. Reagan moved inside early so that she could use the table for bracelet work. If I build another, I'm thinking I'll make the table a little bigger. To set the main bed up, you'll need to remove the lower seat cushion, slide the seat back cushion supports into place. They support the other half of the bed. Lower that section onto the supports. Then put the smaller cushion back. Press it into place, and it's a bit tight. I could have made it smaller. Here's a couple pictures of what it looks like to lay on the beds. These were taken shortly after I finished the build. I didn't get good footage of this while camping. There were some funny comments about how small the camper was and its beds, but we fit just fine the way it is. So that was it. Bedtime. Lights out. When the morning light came, we had survived our first night in the camper. I used the burner to start some coffee. Well, we survived our first night camping. Went all right. I think me and Brandy were a little polite and kind of tried to give each other room all night, and it was a little bit uncomfortable down below, but we can definitely fit down there, no problem. Cole slept in the bottom bunk so he couldn't roll off, and Reagan slept in the top bunk, and they had plenty of room. The AC worked great with the new setup. Biggest problem we have is it's going to rain all day, so we're just going to leave here in the morning instead of kayaking. We had the kayaks laid out and ready to go. There on Back Creek, you can't really see it, it's right back here. If I'm being honest, Back Creek was way too low to kayak and would have been a scrape fest all day anyway. Last night we took, Reagan took a shower and I took a shower. It worked out good. We found out that you could take a shower because the window height is so high that it covers all the parts on myself, Brandy, and Reagan. You wouldn't even need a curtain. That's what was one of the things we had not figured out yet. They're in there still waking up. There's Reagan in the window. She's following me around. Hey, buddy. Coffee is just about ready. The AC slides in and out without much hassle, but as a quick modification, it isn't perfect. I may take some time to attach it to actual sliders in the future. Of course, we have to put the pins back in for travel. They were made from cut-off tent stakes. The rain was steady and we were out of there. As you can see, I'll soon need a different receiver to help it travel more level. That and my truck has 364,000 miles on it, and it's all sacked out in the rear. Since adding the axle, the camper sits about an inch or two higher as well. Nothing about our setup is perfect. So I just got her home, and it's raining pretty hard. That was a really good rain test. So we're gonna go inside and see if anything leaked. Of course, we have duct tape over this just for the trip. I'm gonna make a new window probably this week. Looking around, the wood is soaked, but it does have that sealer on it, so we'll see how it does. Kind of see the back window is wet, super wet. Things are looking really good and dry. It actually smells dry in here compared to outside. Well, we got home at 9 o'clock this morning. It's 1:40 right now, p.m. So what I'm surprised to learn is after driving through all that rain, sure, the camper's sitting under the carport, but I thought these boards would feel like way wet or still really moist, and they are feeling pretty dry. This is crazy after being completely soaked. So maybe that Olympic water sealer works better than I thought. Yeah, it feels good, dry. After the first camping trip, I made some window screens and painted and sealed around the air conditioner a little more. There's still some things like leveling jacks to add. With a project like this, it could always be perfected a little more. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it though, and just go camping. Our second camping trip was a spontaneous afternoon decision. We forgot to bring the propane tank, charcoal, and showed up with a set of dead batteries. Once again, we ran into rain. Luckily, we didn't forget the easy up this time. Setup was all the same. Put the steps out, slide the portable gray water tank under, and move the AC into position. I also forgot to bring the prop-up stick, so here's a feature I never planned for. The door can be simply slid off if needed. It's an accidental discovery that surprised me too. Well, we're getting there. What are you doing, Cole? For this trip, I quickly cut and sanded this scrap piece of wood. Some hooks were screwed in to hold it, and I'm still thinking about what to do for it permanently. The next day, the weather was great. We hung around until checkout time. We chatted with the neighbor who drove from Illinois, giving he and his wife some local recommendations. Overall, the camper did great. I am beyond satisfied with the way it is, and the changes I made just add to that. You guys have helped me learn in the comments from your experience as builders, electricians, RV technicians, plumbers, HVAC guys, of what to improve on my builds. Through the thousands of comments, I've developed a solid idea of how to greatly improve my builds going forward. Thanks everyone for the help. I greatly appreciate that. If you like the video, please consider sharing it and subscribing to keep me building. I literally can't do it without your quick decision to click on the videos and spend some time with them. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next video.